Happy President's Day weekend to you. Here are some interesting stories from around the universe, shall we say. First up, the American College of Physicians has come out in support of the use of marijuana for medical purposes. Now, this is the second largest physicians group in the United States, and they really are coming out and saying, hey, there is a lot of evidence to support that marijuana is valuable in treating severe weight loss issues associated with AIDS and nausea and vomiting associated with chemotherapy. Now, they recognize that more research needs to be done in determining what the proper dosage should be, but they are saying, hey, U.S. government, you need to lift the restrictions on this and we need to pursue this further. This is also interesting because if you've been following my reports, a couple of weeks ago, the New Zealand researchers have come up with some, I guess what they are calling detrimental effects of long-term marijuana use. But again, this is another instance that shows that marijuana does have some great therapeutic benefits, and I hope the U.S. government really listens. I also hope that the American Medical Association steps up to the plate and comes out in support of medical marijuana use, or, quite frankly, they reiterate whatever their policy is, because this is something that really needs to be looked into further. Second up, China. Well, they've done it again. The government has now placed a new ban on movies. Now, what I'm quoting here is what's been released by the government, and they are banning movies that contain wronged spirits, violent ghosts, monsters, demons, and other inhuman portrayals, strange and supernatural storytelling with the sole purpose of seeking terror and horror. Now, what they're trying to do is protect their adolescents. They don't want any kind of detrimental psychological effects to take place. Well, you know what? The research clearly shows that it either doesn't cause any effects or it does. And the research, in my eyes, is biased to those two polarities. There really hasn't been a long-term and effective non-biased study. Jack Thompson here is waging his war against video games, and this is more of the same. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, the Chinese government also banned vulgar video and audio content in relation to a sex scene scandal in one of the movie productions there. So hopefully, in time, the government will lift this ban as well. And finally, for those in the Americas, a spectacular show this Wednesday night, the 20th, starting at, about 8:43 Eastern. It is a total eclipse of the moon. Now, the partial eclipse, as I said, starts at 8:43 Eastern. The total eclipse beginning at around 10 o'clock Eastern. This is the last total eclipse until December 2010. Now, what happens is the sun sets, the moon rises, and the moon actually passes behind the Earth's shadow and turns a spectacular shade of red. Now, you may be wondering why it turns red. If you go outside and you look at your shadow, it's gray, it's dark, it's something, it's not red. The reason why a lunar eclipse turns red is because of the particulate matter in our atmosphere. If you've ever been in an area of high pollution or forest fires and there's a lot of particulate matter in the air at sunset, you see how brilliantly orange and red the sunset is. And the same is true for these lunar eclipses. So if you're in the Americas, take some time out on Wednesday evening and see a spectacular show. That's it for today's QiRanger report. We'll catch you later.